Hey everybody, the topic of addiction, and specifically porn addiction, has come up in several different forums this past week. So I thought I would hop in here and give you my insights on addiction in general. And so it doesn't matter whether you're addicted to porn or sugar or shopping, smoking. There's a couple of things that when I looked it up online just in general to see what people would see that they don't cover. So typically they'll say pick a date that you're going to quit, have a buddy, these kind of things. But what I want to teach you about is the underlying issues regarding addiction. So hopefully you can write these down. So the number one thing you have to pay attention to is your physiology. What happens specifically when you use what it is that you're addicted to? So there's, like, when you shop, if you have a shopping addiction, it's not actually the owning of the thing that you're addicted to, it's the feeling that you get in the process of purchasing something. So there's a feeling that you get. So regardless of what you're using, find out what is the feeling that you get. That is really what you're addicted to, is that feeling. So you do it over and over again to get that feeling, and that's why you have to do it more and more and more and more, because you get adjusted to that feeling, and you need to do more of it or faster or whatever in order to be able to maintain the depth of that feeling and the response to that feeling. So once you recognize that feeling and you understand that, that's going to help you a lot. And then the second thing is, when you're not using, what do you feel like? What is it that you're trying to avoid? So typically you use when you're depressed or you're frustrated, and being able to say, okay, what is a healthy coping skill that I can utilize during that time? And likely, especially with porn, you're not going to get the depth of the physiological response in using something else, because your body's gotten so used to this particular physiological reaction. It's going to be hard to find that and replicate that in a healthy way. But the goal is to look at your physiology, what's happening inside of you, what emotion are you avoiding? So is it depression? Is it isolation? Is it inadequacy? What is the emotion that you're replacing? So I call this emotional displacement. So you're taking the emotion that you feel, you're putting it over here, and you're replacing it with something else. So ask yourself, what are you trying to replace? And then what is a healthy coping skill that you can put in replace of that? So I always tell people, don't try to do things cold turkey, especially if you don't have something to replace it with. Otherwise, it's not going to work, because you're dealing with something that's internal, a thought, a perception, and you're feeding that perception with some sort of physiological thing. And whatever you're addicted to is working. Now, if you're addicted to drugs, and there's going to be a biological addiction as well. Your body has now become adjusted to that in a deeper way. And withdrawals, even from sugar, can be harder than nicotine. And they say that sometimes that it can actually be harder than heroin. So again, I'm not trying to make light of this, but really understanding what's happening in your body, that you're addicted to that feeling, and then say, okay, what is going on when I'm not using, that I'm running from? And solve that. That's where therapy comes in. That's where just digging through that and figuring that out. And then what is a healthy coping skill you can use to replace the unhealthy one with. So hopefully that helps. If you need any more insight or whatever, you always can give me a buzz. God bless you.